about Rendlesham, although most people seem to. There's two air bases, basically. There's Wentworth Air Base and Woodbridge Air Base.
Yeah, yes.
Most of the events have happened around Woodbridge Air Base, the back end of Woodbridge Air Base, near what they call East Gate.
Yeah.
Well, I've done a lot of research, obviously Brenda has as well, and we've found there's a massive ley line that runs right through East Gate. If you look at Sutton Hoe, where the Sutton Hoe Mounds are, you can draw a line from them straight across, straight through the forest, straight through East Gate, right up through Orford Castle. Funny enough, Orford Castle, where Scottish Queen was imprisoned at one time, many hundreds of years ago. And then you look at the history of the place and you think, oh my God. And the stuff that, you've seen some of my pictures, and that was just a few.
Yeah.
We've got 5,000 pictures here, like what you've seen. They are frightening. People think that Rendlesham Forest is all about the 1980 incidents.
Yeah.
There's loads more than 1980. A few weeks back, and on May the 24th, so it's a couple of months back, I went down to Rendlesham Forest with a group of people, and we watched 3 UFOs do basically a display, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
We watched them for a few minutes, just up in the sky, and they done a display. I mean, from my group, we were in 2 groups of us. In my group, to us, that just looked like lights in the sky. They shot across at an incredible speed, then shot back the other way, then went up in the air, then dropped down, and then went shot up in the air again. They're literally doing a display.
Yeah. Like they zigzag, don't they?
Well, it's just right. It was a display, but the other group had a night vision scope, and they could see what the craft were.
Oh.
And what they said was, one was like a cigar shaped, one was shaped like a Damski's bell shape.
Yeah.
And the other one was a triangle.
Triangle. Yeah.
But they could see it because they had a night scope. We hadn't, with our group, we hadn't got it. But there were 7 of us watched that.
Wow.
And that's just one example. But basically, what we're doing now is we're looking into this interdimensional stuff.
Is that what these orbs are all about?
Well, the orbs are another thing another phenomenon that appears there.
Because they're all over, aren't they?
There's thousands of them. An orb seems to be like, I don't know if it's a spirit.
I think it is.
Or quite what it is. What I've personally done now, we've called in a paranormal group, Suffolk Paranormal Group, to work with us. Because they know these are sort of ghost hunter sorts, but having said that, they're into UFOs as well, because they've seen them at Rendlesham Forest, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We've used the spirit box. Have you ever used a spirit box?
I don't know.
Well, we give the spirit box a go with the paranormal group.
What is a spirit box?
It's a low frequency recorder. It's like a radio, only low frequency. It's a bit similar to using a Ouija board, and it's a modern version, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
And basically, you ask questions, you ask spirits to step forward and talk to you, and star people to step forward and talk to you. And when they do, they literally take over the radio. They actually take over. And we sat at a bench, and this is the first time I ever tried it. And I was with me, Brenda Butler, Joe Gain, who's a paranormal fella, and one of our team, Bev. Now, Joe has been doing this for 12 years, so he does know his stuff. He said, right, we've got something here, someone was talking to us. He said, right, well, just to prove that it's not fake, he said, who's sitting opposite me? And it said Brenda. He said, who's sitting next to Brenda? And it said Derek. Well, by that stage, I nearly fell off the bench.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I listened to it. And it was an American voice.
Wow!
And it gets better because we know who it is. Then the boy, he said, can you tell us your name? He said, Kevin. Well, straight away, me and Brenda knew a guy called Kevin Darkstorm. He was a friend of ours, American serviceman that was a serviceman in Rendlesham Forest, actually, at Bentwaters. He was based there for 4 years. He died 6 months before this. He was also on Nigel Waterman's site opening portals, Kevin. You know, a lot of us in the UFO community know of him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he died, and he came through. And then Joe said, is there anybody here that you know? And he said, yes, Derek. Well, by now, I have just turned to shock. I
Yeah.
didn't know what. I've never seen this before. And we asked different questions. I said, can you tell us, is there any way that we can help with communication?
Yeah.
And he said, yes, meditate.
Ah.
Well, that's something I'm not very good at, if I'm quite honest with you.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Well, that was the first time we tried it. Since then, we've improved quite a bit. We've got... Have you heard of the Falling Stones of Rendlesham? Have you heard about these?
No, it's only past couple of days I've heard about these stones.
Right. Basically, what happens is these stones, you can be walking along, could be one of you, there can be a whole group of 20 people. And every now and then, a stone might fall from the sky from nowhere, and it'll fall in front of you. Just fall on the ground. It's falling up, so you can't pick it up till it sort of cool down a bit. At first, I mean...
Are they smooth?
No, they're just all different sorts. I've got 4 now. It's happened to me 4 times.
And they're all made of the same type of rock?
Well, I can't even say that. The ones I've got are 4 different colours, actually, to be truthful. But they're really hot. They thought, up to this point, that it was like a poltergeist type thing, trying to get attention. I didn't believe this. I think that they were to do with ETs. Yeah. Well, before our friend Kevin Darkstorm died, I sent him some of them stones, and I also sent some up to Yorkshire to Nigel Mortimer. Nigel's best mediums that he could get hold of held these stones, and they said, "Oh my crikey, these are," and they described the beings that they come from. On the other side of the water in America, Kevin Darkstorm also said exactly the same thing. He said they're a communication device, and unfortunately we actually tried something with Kevin across the water and something we done in Rendlesham, and it worked. I was with a whole group of people, and was walking around a particular area in Rendlesham, and I had the stone on me. Brenda took me to one side and told me something in private. The next morning, I get a message from Kevin Darkstorm, who was living in America, and he told me exactly what she said. I said, "How the hell did you do that? How did you know? You know, how did you do it?" He said, "You had the stones with you." I said, "Yeah, I had the stone with me." He said, "It's the stones, Derek." He said, "The ETs told me what you said," and I could not believe it. Anyway, unfortunately, we've done a few different experiments, but unfortunately he died, and now he's literally seems to have come back to help us. Wherever he is now, he's come back to help us.
Oh, cheers, Kevin. Nice one.
Which also helps with our research, because this is one of the reasons that Dr. Jonathan Reed is coming to Rendlesham. A lot of people don't realise that. Dr. Jonathan Reed has had his own paranormal UFO experience in the States. I can't tell the whole story on air because it's a long story, but basically he's onto something. He's got artifacts, he's got several artifacts, I think, but one main one, which is the bracelet.
The bracelet is fantastic.
We've got artifacts. Now, he took a great interest in what I've told him. I don't think he quite believed at one time what we can do with these. We have done all sorts. We're still at early stages of learning what we can do with them, but it's amazing that they are some sort of. There's something to do with portals and ETs, basically. Another example: there was a group of people down the forest, and they walked on up to Eastgate, and all these people kept wanting the stone to fall, and they walked along. All of a sudden, the stone just fell from nowhere, right in front of them. Anyway, 2 guys started arguing over the stone. They were all arguing who wanted to grab the stone. But only one fell. Anyway, the stone split in half.
Wow!
So they had a stone each. They couldn't believe it. We now know that the stones, they're not paranormal activity. It's to do with interdimensional beings, I think. It's to do with the fact there's a portal in Rendlesham Forest.
And do you want to just tell me about, because I was I can't wait to go to Rendlesham Forest because of the healing powers, like you were telling me last night.
I've got to be a little bit careful because I touched on that with you last night about the healing powers. We've had
I want the whole flipping nation to know about it, you know?
Well,
I want that to be our lords.
Well, I got into so much trouble over this. Basically, what happened was, over the last couple of years, we get a lot of groups join us, yeah?
Yeah.
And the first time I noticed it, there was a girl in a wheelchair who wanted to come around the forest. Well, it's very sandy in the forest, and to push anybody, although there's paths, that they're not concrete paths, yeah, they're just paths through the forest.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, God, I thought we were going to struggle a bit here.
Yeah.
You know, pushing the wheelchair through, but I couldn't say she couldn't come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
then,
Tight.
you know. So I said, look, we'll do our best to see what we can do. Anyway, she's turned up with lucky she had a fella with her, and we set off to show her a particular site in the forest. And we, of course, obviously the wheelchair kept getting stuck, and she could get out. She could walk some, you know. She wasn't totally not walk. She could walk some, but not far. Anyway, when we got to this particular spot, she had to get out of the wheelchair or stay there. She got out of the wheelchair and we showed her this particular area. It was called Area 1, actually, where we showed her. Anyway, then she went back to the wheelchair and said, well, I'll try and walk a bit. Oh, she walked for bloody miles. Right?
Wow.
In actual fact, when we got back to the road, the guy put the wheelchair back in the car and she was walking. I thought, I don't know, perhaps she's not as good as I thought. And she was quite honest. She said, I have good days and bad days, but I feel really good now. I can't understand it. Anyway, that was the first one. So then I thought, I don't know. And then, happened again. Another lady on crutches. Another group, this lady on crutches, so I don't think I'll be able to walk far. Found herself, I'm not saying running around the forest, but she found herself walking around the forest. Well, as it turns out, it would appear it's the energies of the forest.
Yeah.
And then it's happened, I couldn't tell you how many times it's happened. Well, I thought we'd hit on something here. This is about a bit like Lourdes. You know?
Yeah.
And I've posted up on a particular site on the internet. And unfortunately, what happened then was, we, not just me, but us that go there regular, were inundated with calls. And it got ridiculous. I had one guy rung up, and he was wanting to bring a coachload of people down, and then somebody else threatened me. Not just me, all of us, you know, we all got threatened. If you don't tell us exactly where this is. I said, look, we can't promise anything. It's just something we've noticed. You know, we can't say we're going to heal anybody.
You got threatened?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it got out of hand. We had to take the post off. That's what happened. We actually had to take the post off the site. I just couldn't believe it. It just got out of hand.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't promise anybody they're going to be healed. I'm not saying that.
No, it's just that you would notice that, oh, hang on, she was in a wheelchair before, now she's all right. Wow.
Well, I wouldn't say she's totally all right, but these people, it does seem to have helped them. And it appears it's something to do with the energies of the forest. But, and I say there's a big but here, we also worked out that if there's too many people, the energies aren't the same. For example, when we go to the forest, if we look to stand a chance of seeing anything, we have to break down into smaller groups, like 3, 4, 5 possibly.
Yeah.
If you've got big groups of sort of 20, 30 people, then the chance you're seeing something are very slim.
Yeah.
It's normally smaller groups that split around the forest that can see stuff.
Yeah.
The way I understand it, you mustn't outnumber, whether it be spirits, whether it be star people, you mustn't outnumber them.
Yeah.
Now, I don't understand fully how this works, but this would appear to be the case. Well, the same goes with this healing stuff. If you've got two bigger groups, then you've got no chance, because the energies are different. You have to do it right. I can't guarantee anybody's going to get killed. I can't say that. I mean, after the trouble the last time, it's the first time I've actually said this on radio, I think, about this type of thing. But it could be the same anywhere you go, any forest.
Yeah.
It's the energies, you know, that do it.
It's a ley line, isn't it?
Well, it's right. It is on a massive ley line.
What's about this nothing grew there for 33 years?
Right. That is what is known as Area 1. Now, you won't ever hear the Americans talk about this.
No, I'd never heard of Area 1.
Area 1 is dead opposite East Gate. It's the other side of the runway. And there's an area there where we're told a UFO was whether it landed or crashed, I'm not sure. And nothing has grown there for 33 years.